Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo, and one of the craziest things that comes out of being on the internet is that everything you say is under a microscope, right? Has been for a long time, will be until probably the end of time. So when you come out and you try to make a comparison and it fails to land where you want it to land, you find yourself in the position where Terry Rossio is in right now. Now, if you don't know who Terry Rossio is, this guy is kind of prolific in Hollywood. He was one of the writers of the original Shrek and the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, the first couple movies, not the last couple movies. And he's got himself in a bit of a pickle over what people are calling a racially charged anti-vax tweet. Yes, 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 that's right. A racially charged anti-vax tweet. What exactly does that mean? What exactly is a racially charged anti-vax tweet? Let's find out. Now, screenwriter Terry Rossio decided to compare being called an anti-vaxxer to calling someone the N-word, which obviously isn't the best comparison. Yeah. Calling someone the N-word is calling someone the N-word. It's a pretty specific thing. Calling someone an anti-vaxxer, not the same thing. I mean, I guess I get the intent of what he's going for here. He's all like, to him, calling someone an anti-vaxxer, probably with the venom that comes from calling someone an anti-vaxxer, to him is the same equivalent of what it must be like to be black and have someone call you the N-word, is probably what he's getting at on this one. But let's be fair, not really the same thing. People haven't been, drug out of their homes, lynched around, throw around a tree and hung for being an anti-vaxxer. The worst you guys get is mocked on the internet. Just saying, there's kind of a historical context to the whole N-word situation. Being anti-vaccine, more or less, it just means you're dumb. It doesn't mean that, it's not predicated on anything other than your opinion on something, not the color of your skin. Not at all the same thing, but okay. Now, it says here that Rossio, who's known for writing films such as Shrek and Pirates of the Caribbean and Aladdin, thought it would be a good idea to step on his Twitter soapbox after 100 writer Julie Benson tweeted a request to donate vaccines. And this is what he says here. My heart goes out to all the parents of vaccine-damaged children who have to not only endure the sadness of their loss, but also the vitriol of ill-informed and insensitive people, such as those here. Anti-vax is the equivalent to calling someone an N-word, as it makes as little sense. Okay, so it's... they say liberalism is a disease, right? That's an argument a lot of people on the right like to use against liberals. I would argue that anti-vax that's a pretty terrible disease, one that could be inoculated, but they choose to not take the red pill on that one. You know what I mean? They just choose not to do it. But sitting there and saying, like, my heart goes out to all the parents of vaccine damaged kids who have to not only endure the sadness of their loss, but also the vitriol of ill-informed and insensitive people. He says this in the exact same sentence, that he says, calling someone anti-vax is equivalent to calling someone the N-word. Not even the A ending. We're talking hard R here. Hard R. So let me ask you a question, Terry. And we have mutual friends who speak very highly of you. How is that not being insensitive? That's my question, right? It doesn't make a lot of sense to make that comparison. Now, he's getting dragged through the coals on this one right now. He's getting utterly dragged through the coals, and a lot of people out there, I think, are rightfully so to do it. This was a stupid comment to make. All right, and I have put my foot in my mouth before on a couple things over the years, absolutely, that I've been dragged through the coals over. And it's like, you have to kind of acknowledge and go, maybe I said something stupid. Maybe I said something the wrong way. Maybe this is not the right comparison I want to make. Now, I get the intent of what he's saying. And I think that's being relatively overlooked here, because I do think ultimately context does matter, right? Like, optics matters, but context also matters, right? They're not the same, they're not two sides of the same coin, but both do have a hand, and I think, in the overall situation. Now, in his mind, calling someone an anti-vaxxer is a very venomous slur, right? It's defamation. It's a horrible thing to say. How dare you call me anti-vax? All I want to do is make sure kids are healthy by not providing them with the vaccines to inoculate from certain diseases. because a couple people may have at some point in time been injured by that particular vaccine, if you want to believe such a thing. When science overwhelmingly suggests that that's not the case, right? But people argue, it's the same argument. It comes down from religion, right? Here's the thing. Calling someone anti-vaxxer is not the same as calling someone the N-word. Not at all, not by a long shot, period. Point blank, end of story. Calling someone an anti-vaxxer is more akin to calling someone a religious extremist or a religious nutjob, because that's more akin to what it is, right? It's belief without evidence is really what it boils down to. People sit there and they say, the Bible is real. Well, present the evidence that Jonah survived in that whale's belly. Well, I can't. Well, why not? Because it's in a book and it happened thousands of years ago. So you have no evidence. Yeah, but vaccines cause autism. Okay, we're back on that argument again. See what I mean here? It's a very, very irrational, ill-educated, and dumb argument to have. Now, I'm not trying to say you shouldn't have faith in either one. You can believe whatever you want to believe. If you believe that vaccines cause autism, I cannot help you on that one. I'm sorry. There's no, I don't really have a comeback on that. I'm actually really, really sorry about that. But if you're a person who believes in faith, have your faith, but understand that you're being told stories, I guess. And maybe it's the same concept with that one too. Maybe when you look at the idea of anti-vaccinations, you go, well, I don't believe that these actually help. And that's fine. You can believe that. The rest of the world will move on past you, but you can believe it. But you should still do what you can to protect your kids. You know what I mean? To protect other children. It goes beyond that. Like I don't want to make the religious comparison too much here. It was kind of an off the cuff comment, very similar to this one, but more based, I think, in reality than calling someone the N-word. I just want people to get educated over what this is. I want people to get educated over inoculations and vaccines and why they're needed. Yes, there are always going to be complications. That's always going to happen, right? Not everyone's going to respond the same way to things. That's just part of life. You can't always tell. But when you look at the anti-vax movement and how it's actually impacted kids, and kids have actually died from not getting the vaccines and not being inoculated, that's a reality. That's a reality. When my daughter was born, we looked at that. We did. We stopped. We looked at it. We wanted to make sure that the vaccines were fine, because there is a fear. I'm not going to lie. That fear exists, but you look at what it says, you do the research on it, you trust in science, because science is tangible. It's realistic. It's not someone on the internet saying like, well, my child, didn't get vaccinated and they're perfectly fine. Everyone else's child who was vaccinated got autism and they're clearly autistic. They're not fear mongering. What Terry Rossio here is doing is fear mongering and playing a very dumb card to do it. So believe what you want to believe. That's fine. But context matters, and also knowing and phrasing it that way is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Anyway, what are your guys' thoughts on this? I mean, I really want to hear them. Write them in the comments below. Man, I tell you to like the video, but I don't, it's just not even a good thing to like. So leave your thoughts below. I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day, and vaccinate your kids. Sorry, you really, really should vaccinate your kids.